Thank you all. Thank you everybody for coming. Really appreciate it. Let me grab this thing here. We'll have this so it works. So my name is Stefan. I work with Incident. We are makers of the Gtar. It is Gtar. It's Gtar. If anybody's a coder out there, there's a lot of bad jokes about Gtar because it's something else. But this is what we do. We're the creators of smart, you would call them smart instruments. So the reason we make smart instruments is that we want people to be able to learn how to play music. We want to make it easier. We want to make it more engaging. And we want to make it easier for people to interact with each other through music. Our first product, the Gtar, we launched on Kickstarter in 2012. To date, we are the largest musical hardware-related crowdfunding campaign. I don't know, we might have just been beat by Neil Young's Povo by about $3 million, but his is just a speaker thing, so I think we can still say musical hardware. A little bit about, well, let's just go into what the Gtar is. It's a guitar that can light up. It can sense what you're doing with your fingers. It can sense what you're doing on the strings, and it can tell software that you're running what's going on. Likewise, the software can also tell it what to do. So I have an iPhone 5 here that I'm using that we put right in here. It connects with the system, starts talking with it in its in special language. It allows me to do whatever I want with the guitar. I can play it like a normal guitar, or I can learn songs with it. So for instance, if I were to want to learn how to play Blackbird by the Beatles, I would plug it in. I would choose my difficulty level, easy, medium, or hard. Right now I'm going to do easy. And it would start showing me how to play the song. So I did this for a reason, the easy mode. It's because on easy mode, all I have to do is hit the right strings. We won't probably be able to hear it, but we'll try. As I got better at the song, I felt more comfortable with it. I would move up to medium mode, which means I have to put my fingers in the right place and hit the right strings at the same time. If I did that, it would react, it would make a noise. If I did it wrong, it would just wait for me to catch up on the song. Hard mode means that I have to play everything correctly, but it plays all the wrong notes as well. So it's like learning on the normal guitar, only it still lights up to show me the way. That is the basic version of our app. The ability of the Gtar really goes way, way, way beyond that. And the ability of any of these kind of connected instruments goes way, way, way beyond that, because they're being run by software. So we are doing or using these and creating applications and creating these so that they can work with other applications out there, so they can be drum machines, so they can be sequencing devices, so DJs can be using them up on stage and you actually be in front of people playing a guitar but DJing their set as opposed to behind their laptop or behind their keyboard. We have people that can be introducing these into games. Everybody looks at this and they're like, oh, it's like Guitar Hero for real. Well, that's kind of what it is. And so it goes into video games, it goes into all those things. We have an open platform for software developers so they can do what they want with it, to make it light up, to interact with whatever they're running, whether they want to create learning software, whether they want to create games, applications. It works with desktops as well as iOS devices. All of our applications are specific to iOS at this time. A little bit about how we went from nothing to Kickstarter. I think is kind of where we need to go next. So let me pull this off. So this company was actually founded by a guy named Idan Beck, who is the only founder of the company. He wasn't able to make it tonight, but he was a Microsoft engineer living up in Seattle at the time. He actually grew up here in Cupertino, but he was in Seattle as a Microsoft computer engineer. He didn't really enjoy some of the things he was doing, and he knew that there was so much more that could be done. So he moved back home to Cupertino, to his parents' place, and started working in his parents' garage. The garage in Cupertino, kind of a classic Silicon Valley story. That's where he started. This was about in 2009. Started working on a few different ideas. One of them was this thing right here, which if you can't see it very well, it's basically a normal electric guitar with a whole lot of wires running out of it and stapled, in a way, onto the neck. And this was this is one of his few ideas he was working on, and it was only meant for him as a guitarist to be able to take what he was doing on a guitar and put it into the computer, because there's a few MIDI guitars out there, but there was nothing that was perfect. There was nothing that he really wanted to use. So he started with that as a version 1 prototype. They went through a couple rounds of prototyping it. He gave it to his brother, who was a little older than this kid is at the time. Gave it to his brother, and his brother started playing with it and said, you know what would make this really awesome? It can sense what I'm doing, but what if you had lights on it? What if you could actually show people what to do? And right there, a light went off in his head, and this is what came out of it. So, go on to get the rest of the prototypes, go to Kickstarter, and we become guys smoking cigars with lots of money. I really wish. So some things about Kickstarter and how to do it and how to go about getting your Kickstarter campaign up and going. Some things we learned was that, and we didn't necessarily do this very well, this is something we found out after the fact. Act like you're a really big company and plan out your Kickstarter campaign as if you are a big company and you're launching a real product. A lot of people don't do this because they think, you know what, I'm just going to get a hit, it's going to go really big, people are going to give me lots of money, and that's it. Well, we were pretty lucky, and we did very, very well very, very quickly. But what we failed to do and what we failed to capitalize on was the ability that we could have had to have planned out a Kickstarter campaign from day 1, which we did plan for, to day 30. We planned for day 1. We left 29 days out there unplanned. So we didn't have any follow-up press things. We didn't have any kind of viral things set up. All we had was planned for day 1. So if you're going to do this, act like a real company. Have it planned out for all 30 days of your Kickstarter campaign. For day 1, if you can, plan it around a press event. We launched actually at TechCrunch Disrupt in 2012. We were on stage there. We did not win TechCrunch Disrupt. We lost. We got second place, but we think we got first place because within 11 hours of being on TechCrunch Disrupt, we launched it the minute we went up on stage. Launched our Kickstarter the minute we got on stage. Within 11 hours, we had raised our goal of $100,000. We went on for the next month to raise, as Raj said, $355,000. We think it could have been much more if we would have planned it even better. I think some of our other people are going to tell you a little bit more about this because you can't really say too much about it, but you have to create a really, really great video. We were lucky enough to have some very good resources on our small team at the time to put together a pretty good video. It wasn't just a quick 30-second promo video. We went out, we told a real story with it. It was 3 minutes and 24 seconds long, and we told a real story, what our company was all about, what we were really trying to do, and what the Gtar was, what it was all about. And the last thing is, as well, create a very good page. Now, the video is super important because that's what people are going to be watching, and that's what they're going to feeling close to you. But there's some things you can do on your page as well. One of the things is that your product or your Kickstarter campaign should speak to the needs of many people. So one of the great things about our product that we were able to do is we were able to talk to beginners, people that wanted to learn guitar, and tell them, hey, this would help you to learn guitar. We were able to talk to actual experienced musicians, saying, hey, this will help expand your repertoire, or this will help you do new things with a guitar that you haven't been able to do before. We were able to talk to developers, speak to developers and say, hey, listen, we're actually creating a instrument platform for you to work with so that you can do what you really want to with a real instrument as opposed to with a Guitar Hero guitar or with a MIDI keyboard. It should tell a great story about who you are, about what you're doing, about your product, and what your long-term vision is. So it should have a very, very compelling long-term vision. It shouldn't just be necessarily about a single product. It's about what are you really, really trying to do here. At Incident, what we're really trying to do is we're really trying to change the way that music is learned, it's created, it's interacted with, and the way it's experienced. And the last thing that you can do to help yourself is find a way to get people to feel good about supporting you when they do. So with us, we actually teamed up with a program called Little Kids Rock, so that some money that came to us could also go to Little Kids Rock, or people could buy a Gtar and donate it to Little Kids Rock. Well, we started with t-shirts. You gave us a little bit of money, $20, we gave you a t-shirt, and then we started selling product. So we gave people a little bit of a discount on pre-ordering a Gtar. And really the most compelling thing about our project was the fact that we're building a real piece of hardware that was that people wanted. So the easiest way to raise money around that is just to sell them. Yeah, I think we'll cover that later, but I guess I'll cover it right now. So we do have patents on our product. We have a couple products, patents that are that we have. We have a few that are pending, and then we have a very, very large number that we're considering going after. The issue with patenting, as I'm sure you'll hear more of, is that it can be very, very, very expensive. Okay. Yeah. So how do we go from how do we actually get production and all that up and going?
Because a lot of the times, few of my friends will tell me that they're just planning for a certain amount of quantity from the get-go, but if the quantity is too big.
Yeah. Right. So how do you plan for having success at Kickstarter? I think is probably the best way. How do you go into production and plan for success? It's very hard to actually plan for success, especially outsized success. We hoped to raise $100,000. We ended up raising $355,000, which meant we sold 3 times more than we were expecting to. Probably the best advice I can give you is really pad your ship date. We said we would be shipping it in the fall of 2013. We may not have actually shipped the last pre-order until the fall of 2012. We didn't ship our last pre-order actually until 2013, fall of 2013. And because we told people in our Kickstarter, hey, you're going to get your product in fall 2012, they expected that. And so we had a little bit of a backlash. But if we would have told people up front, hey, if this goes really well, we may not be shipping until summer 2013 or something like that, it would have been fine. People are totally okay with waiting as long as they love your idea and they know that there needs to be a lot of work going to it. So pad your ship date. Yeah, so what is the process and thought process behind creating the video, and how would you do that? It's really about, it's hard talking about the process because there are people that get paid to do this. None of us were paid to do this. We just kind of, we scripted something that we thought was compelling, that told the story that we were thinking was the most compelling story for the Gtar at the time. We scripted it. We shot about 30 different locations, doing different things, playing outside, playing inside, playing with your friends, doing all, learning how it worked. We kind of went into the details of some of the technology behind it and things like that, and ended up with a 3-minute video. So it's not much of a process, but there was a little bit of thought that went into it.